Hello. Hello, lovelies. This is the first time I go live on my personal account. Usually I go live on my page. I just did actually live on my page just moments earlier. How are you today? This is I don't know what time it is, but probably already afternoon. It's a fine Thursday afternoon in a warm summer month. Can you believe it's already September? It's crazy, right? We're gonna have Thanksgiving again in 2 months, and then Christmas all over again in 3 months, and then 2026 is looming. It's crazy. I thought we just started 2025, and seems to me every day just goes by very quickly. So how are you today? I would like to mention something I recently saw. Recently I saw like a reel from a guy talking why these days guys don't take women on dinners anymore on a first date, because they don't know if the women really like them or just want to be fed. Especially these days, because as you well know, right, this is the hardest recession for most people who recently lost their jobs. It's no longer a recession, it's a depression. So this is the hardest recession probably in our lifetime, with everything so expensive, groceries so expensive. So understandingly, like a lot of men these days, they are careful about the money they spend on dates, right? Because they are bleeding themselves. So this guy says, this is why we don't take girls on a first date or to dinners anymore, because you don't know if they like you or they just want the food. And of course there is a discussion going on with that. Naturally, some women say, then we always interested in the food first. Maybe there is some truth to it, don't you think? At least if we are invited to a dinner, we are more motivated, right, to see the guys, even though we're not quite sure yet, we are really attracted. While some say, you would know if you're attracted or not through the pictures. Yeah, but sometimes pictures are not really good representations of what men or women actually look like. So the only way to know if you have chemistry is really to meet them. And if you're not that attracted to the pictures, naturally you are having doubts or hesitations to go out on a first date with them, or to meet and greet, right? But if the guy offers, I'll take you to a nice dinner, then it's like the deal is being sweetened. You know what I'm saying? So I see both sides in this case. And another woman says, you know what? I'm always gonna be around men who don't see a problem feeding women. If they already fuss about paying for a meal, I don't want to be around men like that, which is also a valid point. So I would like to know your opinion on that, because as I said, I could see both points. These days, you see a lot of women use men for groceries, pretty much for food. You go on nice fancy dinners without knowing in your heart you never want to date them. And some women actually save tons of money doing that, like a few times a week, especially if they're pretty, they're young and pretty, and they just get invited to a lot of dinners by, wealthy older men. So yeah, that's how they basically save money for groceries, by going on a date a few times a week. So they get fed really nice dinners. But I want to address to the one who said, you know what? It's always about the food first at first. Doesn't mean that we won't fall in love later on, when we see, you know, our personalities match, our values match, and he shines in his masculine glory. I could definitely see that as well, right? And then another woman who says, you know, if you already make so much fuss about feeding me, you know, what else can I expect further down the road? You're just not the right man for me. And I definitely can agree with that. So it's pretty much depends on the situations, because, you know, I'm never like strict to black and white approach to life. Whatever it is, you know, my way of coaching is going to match your situation, his situation, your feelings, your blind spot, and your hang-ups, right? So cannot just one size fits all kind of advice. It doesn't work with me, because every approach can be right for the right person, or every piece of advice can be right for the right person who just matches that kind of advice in their mileage or in their life journey. Do you understand what I'm saying? For example, you know, I'm coaching a client right now who's been with his boyfriend for 4 years, but he still hasn't involved her with family stuff, like with his children, because he has agreements with his ex that, you know, they're not going to bring their children around their dates or boyfriends or girlfriends. So it's like a legal agreement because of that. And she's struggling through that. But at the same time, she cannot let go. With the one advice fits all that many coaches approach the situation from, they will say, oh, you know, you are being taken for granted, you're being strung along, just, you know, he will never commit, you know, if after a year or after 3 months he never talks about the future, then he just treats you as a convenience. Or like, you know, don't believe a guy who just say, oh, I go with the flow, being in the moment. Because as I always say, I can see both sides. You need a coach who can see both sides, and who can see that both sides can be right or wrong depending on the situation, depending on the people you're dealing with, depending on the circumstances. So there is no one advice fits all. Most coaches don't have that kind of capacity, that kind of expansion to be holistic in their point of view, right? So their advice tends to be just one-dimensional, and a lot of time it misses the mark. I have proven it with my track records that, you know, it's not true that, you know, after 3 months or after 1 year, if a guy doesn't talk about the future, or a guy doesn't claim you, he will never marry you. It's bullshit. Pardon my French. Because I've proven it time and again. Guys who seem to be very commitment resistant, they melt because she plays her cards right. Playing her cards right requires the peak emotional intelligence that only cat can teach you. So do not hesitate to contact me for coaching, or to get on my fan subscriptions or my monthly membership, or just to purchase my products and programs, because everything that I provide will help you a great deal navigating the murky waters of modern dating, right? So back to that situation with my client, the other coaches would already have told her to walk away. With me, my job is not to tell her what to do, but rather to guide her into the right direction, based on her feelings and intuition, not based on what societies dictate, what other coaches tell her, what other people have, what her friends have, because every journey is different, right? Every life situation is different. So if she's comparing herself to her best friend, then yeah, you know, she's really wasting her time. But I guide her. I said, you know, your life situation is totally different. Everyone is different. Do not compare yourself necessarily like that, because comparison is the thief of joy, right? So rather than tell her that this is really the absolute, that a guy who cannot bring you into her children after 4 years is not going to commit, which is completely false, because I've proven it before with other clients. After 20 years, finally he married her, only because she's doing it right for the first time ever, after following my advice. So that is Karina Peng, the man whisperer, and the last resort, the rainmaker. So back to one advice cannot fit all. My job is really just to make you commit to your feelings, right? If it doesn't feel good to you, then yeah, it's time to walk away. But a lot of time there are conflicts. Women don't feel good about it, but at the same time they cannot walk away because they are still attached to it. Then my job will be to get to clarity, to get you to clarity that yes, accept the fact that I'm still attached to this, I'm attached to him. Then I will encourage you and I will guide you to surrender to the process without neurosis. What is neurosis? Neurosis is basically when you wish things were not the way they are. So there is a difference between psychosis and neurosis, right? With psychotic people, if you ask, what is 2 plus 2? They say 250. That is psychosis. And if you ask a neurotic person, what is 2 plus 2? They would say, 2 plus 2 is 4, but I wish it was 5. You see what I'm saying? So denial, active denial of reality, that is what neurosis is. And most people are probably in the state of being extremely neurotic or very neurotic or just neurotic. And because of that, they suffer a great deal, because of the resistance of what is what create resistance in and conflict inside of you. And then you bring that conflict into the world, then you create toxicity with your neurosis. It's leaking into your surrounding. So what I teach you, so you know already that this is what he can offer right now, right? And you know already that you cannot walk away. Why can't you just accept it without going back to talking about it, discussing it, lashing out? Why keep doing the same thing over and over, knowing that doesn't work? So that is my approach to coaching. But to the other ladies who are ready to walk away, I cannot do this anymore, Kat. Good. Then I support you and I agree with you. So whatever you want to do, I agree with you. As long as you are sure that's what you want to do and you're not going to waver. But if you still waver anyway, I'm going to point it out to you that maybe just surrender to the process and accept reality, whatever it is, right? And take it from there. And sooner or later, you will get to clarity. Because when you're ready to walk away, you're not going to ask the questions anymore. You're already just fading. You're not going to need me anymore to tell you whether or not I should walk away. You will just do it naturally by yourself. So When you start doing things naturally without the intervention or the interference of thoughts, then you have arrived, because everything that you do is being propelled by intuition and feelings. That's how I live my life. And there is only one person who can teach you that, a person who lives that so fully, a person who talk the talks and walk the walks, and everything that she teaches comes from first-hand direct experience, the sand living, right? And that person is Karina Pang, the man whisperer and the last resort, the rainmaker, and also the last genetic match to Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, and the rightful heir to the throne of David. So please find me, work with me while I still can be found, because very soon, maybe after 2 years, I'll be needed in my new role to fix the world, to eradicate all corruption and all parasites from the face of our planet Earth. If you see in the world today, there is an escalation of revelations and apocalypse, right? So the conspiracy theories have been proven right all this time. So find me while I still can, while you still can, and maybe come to my private retreat, mini retreat, or day intensive, if you want to come to San Diego, California, and doing this in my pool or hot tub. My hot tub is so amazing, the famous hot tub. So get your coaching from the beauty of California, Southern California's temperate weather, where you will be treated as my honorable guest. To inquire, just comment or PM me or email me at cat@karinapeng.com with CC to Orpheus218@gmail.com. I will post the details later. Or if you're new to Cat's Realm, you might want to start with the fan subscriptions or the monthly memberships, only $127 a month. And I will, hi Nikki, I'll see you. How are you? Babe, Nikki. So, with the fan subscriptions, you have access to the library of 333 classes that covers every subject under the sun regarding life, man, romance, love, and relationship. And you also get life coaching once a month. It's very cheap, $127 a month. There is nothing like what I offer out there, with the kind of affordability as well as the quality and devotion, dedication to coaching the way Kat does with her very high work ethics. Or with the monthly membership, you don't have access to the library, but you get interactive coaching, almost like private coaching, with only 1/10 of the price, and you get to keep the recording. The fan subscription doesn't allow you to keep the recording, but you have access to so many wealth of information as long as you are a subscriber, right? I'll give you the link later, but you also can get my other products and services, my individual hit classes. I just love what I do, ladies, and what I do has been changing so many lives. Even though maybe you see me less and less every day because I'm very restricted. I'm being persecuted right now because of my bloodline. That is the life as the chosen one. It's very hard being me right now. It doesn't look like that, right? Because I still live in this beautiful house and everything. But I've lost millions of dollars the last 5 years being persecuted, not being able to make a living the way I did before COVID. Yes, I call it COVID. Millions of dollars, ladies, in 5 years. I let it go. I give it up because I have a job to do, and nobody else can do it but me. And that is what we call integrity. So you might want to follow someone like that, who doesn't make money as the center point of her life purpose or her mission. You know, what is money anyway if there's so much suffering, you know, with humanity? That's what we're going to change, and it's coming in the next 2 years. So rejoice. And meanwhile, if you want to help support me, yes, work with me privately or in the fan subscription or the monthly membership, or just purchase my products and programs. Thank you for your help, and I would like your opinion about that, whether or not it's true that, you know, women who date guys, they date for the food first. And whether or not you agree with the guys who say this is why we don't take women on dinners, to dinners anymore on a first date, because we don't know, you know, they want us, they like us, or they just like the food. What do you think, Nikki? Nikki, are you still with your boyfriend, hon? I hope as the invitation still opens, Nikki, to come to my house one of these days soon. All right. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.